Have you ever trusted someone only to realize later that they were nothing like who they seemed? In life, people don't just tell you who they are, they show you. But most of us miss the signs. The Stoics taught that true character isn't revealed in words, but in actions, especially in the small, unguarded moments. Today, we're uncovering 5 powerful signs that reveal a person's true nature. From how they treat those who can't offer them anything to how they react when life doesn't go their way. These clues can protect you from betrayal, disappointment, and regret. So, whether you're navigating friendships, relationships, or business, stay sharp. Let's learn to see people as they truly are, beyond the mask. Ready? Let's begin. 1. Pay attention to their reaction to your success. Have you ever shared good news only to be met with a lukewarm response, or worse, subtle resentment? Success doesn't just change your life, it reveals the people in it. The Stoics believed that true character isn't found in how someone acts when times are hard, but in how they respond when fortune favors others. Picture this. You've worked tirelessly, late nights, countless sacrifices, and finally you reach your goal. A promotion, a personal milestone, a long-awaited breakthrough. You share your joy, expecting a celebration. But instead of enthusiasm, you're met with indifference, a backhanded compliment, or even a passive-aggressive remark. Must be nice. Some of us aren't so lucky. I've been there. I once told someone close to me about an achievement I had spent years working toward. Their response? A forced smile, a quick nod, and an immediate shift to their own struggles. No genuine excitement, no shared joy, just discomfort. For a moment I questioned myself. Did I say it the wrong way? Was I bragging? But then I realized their reaction wasn't about me. It was about what my success reflected back at them. This is the uncomfortable truth. Your success isn't just about you. It's a mirror, forcing others to confront their own insecurities, regrets, and unfulfilled dreams. Some will be inspired, using your growth as fuel for their own journey. Others will shrink back, seeing your rise as a reminder of where they feel stuck. But here's where it gets deeper. Not everyone who struggles to celebrate you is a bad person. Life is complex. People battle their own silent wars, and sometimes your joy arrives when they're drowning in their own disappointments. Compassion matters, but so does awareness. If someone consistently downplays your achievements, dismisses your hard work, or makes everything about themselves, it's a sign that they're struggling to handle your growth. Look beyond their words. Are their congratulations genuine, or do they feel hollow? Do they support you in private but stay silent in public? Do they make subtle jabs like, "Well, you had connections," or "If I had more time, I could do that too"? These micro-reactions reveal more than you think. And here's something most people overlook. Success isn't just about money, status, or career milestones. Sometimes success is setting a boundary, choosing peace, or walking away from a toxic situation. Even those victories can make people uncomfortable because they challenge the choices they're too afraid to make. I once made the difficult decision to leave an environment that was draining me. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. When I shared my decision, I expected support. Instead, I got confusion, judgment, and resistance. In hindsight, their reaction wasn't about my choice. It was about their fear of making their own. Now, let's flip the perspective. How do you respond to other people's success? It's easy to judge others for their lack of support, but what about when the roles are reversed? Maybe your friend lands their dream job while you're feeling stuck. Maybe your sibling buys a home while you're struggling with rent. It's natural to feel that pang of jealousy, but what matters is what you do next. Do you let resentment take root, or do you push past it and genuinely celebrate them? Success isn't just a test for your relationships, it's a test for you. It reveals your own values, your capacity for generosity, and your ability to rise above ego. The question is, when someone else wins, do you cheer or do you shrink? So what do you do when someone shows their true colors in the face of your success? Start by setting boundaries. It's okay to distance yourself from those who can't celebrate your growth, but at the same time, recognize that not everyone is in the right place to clap for you, and that's okay. Their validation isn't required for your journey. More importantly, commit to being the kind of person who does celebrate others. Clap for your friends, even when you're still waiting for your turn. Support your family, even when success feels far away. Because here's the truth, someone else's victory doesn't take away from yours. The world has more than enough room for everyone to win. In the end, success is about more than just achievement. It's about clarity. It shows you who's truly in your corner, who needs space to grow, and who you are becoming in the process. And the most valuable lesson: true joy isn't just found in reaching your own goals, it's found in lifting others up along the way. So, next time you accomplish something, pay close attention. The people who light up for you, those are your real ones. Keep them close. For everyone else, let them go with grace. Because the path to success is long, and you deserve to walk it with those who genuinely want to see you thrive. 2. Observe how they handle power. If you want to see someone's true nature, give them power, no matter how small. A leadership role, control over a situation, even the ability to make a simple decision. Power doesn't corrupt, it reveals. If someone is kind and wise, power will magnify those traits. But if they are insecure, arrogant, or selfish, power will bring those flaws into the light. I once worked with someone who was easygoing and approachable until they got promoted. Almost overnight, their tone changed. Every email became condescending, every meeting felt like a lecture, and every mistake, no matter how small, was turned into a public lesson. They weren't leading, they were performing dominance. And the irony: the more they tried to assert control, the less respect they earned. Because here's the truth, real power isn't about making yourself feel bigger, it's about carrying responsibility with humility. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "The higher we are placed, the more humbly we should walk." True strength lies in lifting others, not standing above them. But power isn't just about titles. It exists in friendships, relationships, even everyday interactions. Ever noticed how some people change when they feel they have the upper hand? Maybe a friend who suddenly becomes bossy when you need a favor, or a partner who uses your vulnerability against you in an argument. These small moments reveal more about a person's character than any grand gesture ever could. And then there's the way people treat those they believe are beneath them. Watch how someone interacts with a waiter, a cashier, or a customer service rep. Are they patient, kind, and respectful? Or do they act entitled, dismissive, or irritated? I once went on a date with someone who was endlessly charming to me, but snapped at the waiter over a minor mistake. That was all I needed to see. There was no second date. Because if someone only respects people they deem important, they don't truly respect anyone at all. Now, let's turn the question inward. How do you handle power? It's easy to judge others, but what about when you're the one with authority? Maybe at work, in your home, or even in small social situations. Do you use your influence to uplift others, or do you let it feed your ego? I've made mistakes before, insisting on my way, letting frustration slip into condescension. But every time life has humbled me, because power isn't about proving you're right. It's about doing what's right. So, here's the lesson. When someone shows you how they handle power, believe them. Watch their actions, not their words. Do they lead with kindness, or do they let power control them? And in your own life, remember, true power isn't about control. It's about responsibility, wisdom, and leaving people better than you found them. Because in the end, power is temporary. But how you use it, that's the legacy that lasts. 3. Observe how they handle stress. Stress is the great unmasker. It magnifies whatever is already inside a person: kindness, patience, insecurity, or anger. When pressure builds, the truth comes out. And sometimes it's not the truth you were hoping for. Let's be real. Nobody handles stress perfectly. We all have moments of frustration, self-doubt, or emotional exhaustion. But there's a difference between someone who occasionally struggles and someone who consistently uses stress as an excuse to mistreat others. How a person acts on their hardest days is a direct reflection of their character. I once had a friend who was the life of the party, witty, charismatic, always fun to be around. But when stress hit, they became a completely different person. Deadlines, relationship drama, or minor inconveniences would send them into a tailspin. They'd lash out, make cutting remarks, and then justify it with, "You know how I get when I'm under pressure." At first, I brushed it off. But over time, I realized this wasn't just stress. It was their real nature breaking through. Stress didn't create their cruelty, it revealed it. On the other hand, I've known people who have faced overwhelming challenges, job losses, heartbreaks, health crises, and yet they never let their hardships turn them bitter. A friend of mine lost his job unexpectedly. He was barely scraping by, but instead of becoming resentful, he started volunteering at a food bank saying, "If I'm struggling, imagine what others are going through." That's the kind of person you want in your life. Someone who rises above their circumstances, not someone who lets stress turn them into a wrecking ball. Now, here's where it gets controversial. Some say you shouldn't judge people when they're under stress, but that's exactly when you should pay attention. It's easy to be kind when everything is going well. The real test is how someone acts when they're running late, stuck in traffic, or facing a tough decision. Do they stay composed, or do they explode and take everyone down with them? And let's not forget the very-day stress tests. I once dated someone who was sweet and charming, until we had to wait in a long line at a coffee shop. They rolled their eyes, sighed loudly, and even snapped at the barista. That moment may have seemed small, but it was a flashing red flag. If someone falls apart over a minor inconvenience, how will they handle real adversity? Now, before pointing fingers, let's turn the question inward. How do you handle stress? Have you ever snapped at a loved one during a bad day? Ghosted a friend when life got overwhelming? That doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you human. But self-awareness is key. I remember a time when I let stress consume me. Work, family, and personal struggles all piled up, and without realizing it, I started taking my frustration out on the people closest to me. It took a friend calling me out. "I get that you're stressed, but it's not fair to take it out on me," to wake me up. Here's the hard truth. Stress doesn't excuse bad behavior. It explains it, but it doesn't justify it. The real question is, what do you do with that explanation? Do you let it control you, or do you use it as a mirror to grow? And here's one more thing to watch. When someone is under pressure, who do they snap at, and who do they protect? Do they lash out at waiters, customer service reps, or loved ones while keeping their cool around their boss? That says everything about their values. At the same time, be kind to yourself. No one handles stress perfectly, and growth is a lifelong journey. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness. When you slip, own it, make it right. Because character isn't about never making mistakes. It's about how you respond to them. So the next time you see someone under stress, pay attention. Their reaction isn't just a random moment, it's a glimpse into their true self. And if you're the one feeling the pressure, remember, stress will test you, but it doesn't have to define you. Who you become in those moments is a choice. Choose wisely. 4. Test their reaction to no. If you want to see someone's true character, tell them no. Few things reveal a person's nature more clearly than being denied something they want. Do they accept it with grace, or do they push back, guilt-trip you, or even lash out? Because how someone handles not getting their way isn't just about that moment. It's a direct reflection of their maturity, their respect for you, and, quite frankly, their sense of entitlement. I once had a friend who loved planning elaborate group trips. Sounds great, right? Except they always chose expensive, inconvenient destinations without considering whether everyone could afford it. One year, I had to decline. The timing and cost just didn't work for me. I expected understanding. Instead, I got a guilt trip. Wow, so you don't care about spending time with us? I guess I'm the only one who values this friendship. That moment was eye-opening. It wasn't about the trip. It was about control. My no revealed the conditions attached to their kindness. Some people treat no like a personal attack. They act offended, throw tantrums, or try to manipulate you into changing your mind. Why? Because your boundaries make them uncomfortable. It's not about what you're saying no to. It's about the fact that you're asserting yourself. And for some, that's intolerable. Now, here's where it gets controversial. Many people believe you owe them a yes, a favor, your time, your energy. They see your refusal as betrayal. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone your agreement. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary. And anyone who can't handle your no doesn't truly value you. They value what you can do for them. On the flip side, I've also seen the power of handling rejection with grace. A former colleague once asked for my help on a project with a tight deadline. I was completely swamped and had to say no. Instead of sulking or making me feel guilty, they simply said, "No worries, I know you've got a lot on your plate. Let me know if I can support you instead." That response stuck with me. It showed respect, not just for my time, but for me as a person. Saying no is hard enough as it is. Society conditions us to feel guilty for it, as if prioritizing our own well-being makes us selfish. But let's flip the script. What does it say about someone who can't handle hearing no? It says they're not as invested in you as they are in what they can get from you. I've seen this dynamic play out in relationships too. Early in one of my past relationships, I set a boundary. I needed more time for myself. My partner didn't take it well. Instead of understanding, they made sarcastic remarks, questioned my commitment, and accused me of not caring. That was a massive red flag. A healthy relationship is built on mutual respect, not guilt and control. And then there are the subtle manipulators, the ones who disguise their discomfort with rejection as jokes. You say, "I can't make it to dinner tonight," and they respond with, "Oh, I guess I'm just not important enough, huh?" It may sound playful, but underneath it is a quiet attempt to make you feel bad. These are the people who don't take no as an answer, because they see your boundaries as an inconvenience to them. Here's the deeper truth. How someone reacts to no isn't just about that moment. It's about how they view relationships. Do they see you as an equal whose boundaries deserve respect? Or do they see you as a means to an end, someone who exists to meet their needs? But let's turn the mirror around. How do you handle rejection? It's easy to expect respect from others, but are you giving it in return? I won't lie. There have been times when hearing no stung. A friend declining an invitation, a colleague rejecting my help. I took it personally, but I had to remind myself their no wasn't about me. It was about their own needs and limits. And that's okay. Growth happens when we learn to accept no with the same grace we expect from others. It's a sign of emotional maturity and self-respect. So, here's the takeaway. The next time you tell someone no, pay attention. Do they respect your decision, or do they try to make you feel bad? And when someone tells you no, take a moment to reflect on how you respond. Because ultimately, how we handle rejection is one of the truest tests of character. At the end of the day, boundaries aren't walls, they're doors. Saying no is an act of self-respect. Accepting no is an act of respecting someone else. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Because the people who truly value you won't see your boundaries as obstacles. They'll see them as the foundation of a healthier, more authentic connection. 5. Watch how they treat service workers. If you want to glimpse someone's true character, watch how they treat those who can do nothing for them. Waiters, cashiers, delivery drivers. These everyday interactions reveal more than any grand gesture ever could. Why? Because in these moments, the balance of power is clear. They can choose to be kind, patient, and respectful, or they can be dismissive, entitled, and cruel. Now, imagine this. You're on a first date. Everything is going well. They're charming, funny, and engaging. Then the waiter forgets their drink order. Suddenly, their whole demeanor shifts. They roll their eyes, sigh loudly, maybe even throw in a sarcastic remark. Wow, is it really that hard to remember one drink? It's uncomfortable to witness, right? Because that one small moment speaks volumes. If they can be that unkind over something trivial, how will they act when faced with real challenges, disagreements, disappointments, or setbacks in a relationship? Some might argue, oh, they were just having a bad day. But let's be real. Bad days don't justify bad behavior. Stress might explain impatience, but it doesn't excuse treating people like they're beneath you. Decency isn't conditional, it's a baseline. I learned this lesson firsthand. I was out with a group of friends when one of them received the wrong order. Instead of politely addressing the mistake, they turned it to a spectacle, raising their voice, belittling the server, and demanding to see the manager. It wasn't just embarrassing, it was revealing. They could have handled the situation with grace and still gotten what they wanted. But they chose to make someone else feel small instead. Now, let's flip the script. I've also known people who treat service workers like gold, no matter what. One of my closest friends remembers the names of baristas, tips generously, and thanks delivery drivers as if they just saved her life. Watching her interact with people is a reminder that kindness costs nothing, but its impact is immeasurable. Because here's the deeper truth. How someone treats service workers isn't just about that moment. It's a window into how they see the world. Do they view people as equals, deserving of respect? Or do they see them as tools, obstacles, or the help? And let's not overlook the small, everyday clues. Have you ever been with someone who refuses to say thank you at a drive-thru? Who acts like a store clerk's greeting is beneath them? These aren't minor oversights. They're insights into how they treat others when they think no one is watching. And spoiler alert, if they can't muster basic kindness in these situations, they won't in more important ones either. I've been on the receiving end of this behavior too. I once worked in retail during the holiday rush, a true stress test for anyone's patience. One day, a customer came in furious that an item was out of stock. No matter how much I tried to help, they wouldn't listen. Instead, they lashed out, called me names, and stormed off. The issue wasn't the item, it was their belief that frustration gave them the right to treat someone poorly. But I've also experienced the opposite. A regular customer would come in, always smiling, always asking how our day was. One time, I messed up their order. Instead of getting upset, they simply said, "Don't worry about it. It happens to everyone." That simple moment of grace turned my entire day around. So now, let's bring it back to you. How do you treat service workers? Because this isn't just about spotting red flags in others, it's about checking your own behavior. Do you say please and thank you? Do you make eye contact and acknowledge them as people, not just workers? Growth starts with accountability. Here's the Stoic truth. Respect is the foundation of every relationship, whether it's with a loved one or a stranger taking your coffee order. And how you treat those who can do nothing for you, that's the clearest reflection of who you really are. So next time you're out, pay attention. Watch how the people around you treat the waiter, the cashier, the delivery driver. It's not a small detail, it's a big clue about who they are. And if you're the one standing in line, remember this. Kindness is free, but its impact is priceless. You never know what someone is going through, and your respect might just be the thing that makes their day a little brighter. Because in a world where you can be anything, be kind, always. So, there you have it. 5 powerful ways to see someone's true colors. People don't just tell you who they are, they show you. In how they handle stress, how they react to no, how they treat those with no power. The small moments reveal the biggest truths. At the end of the day, words mean little. Actions are everything. The question is, are you paying attention? Now, here's your challenge. Notice these signs in others, but also in yourself. Are you living by the values you respect? Are you treating others with kindness and integrity? Growth starts from within. If this resonated with you, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And drop a comment. What's a moment that revealed someone's true character to you? Life's too short for anything less than authenticity. Stay aware, stay kind, and stay true. See you next time.